Kataa kutekwa nyara, kataa. Kataa ufisadi, kataa. Simama na Wakenya, simama. Sasa natoa roho yangu iende kukomboa Kenya. 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 Jinsi walitoa roho yao iende kukomboa Kenya. Jinsi walitoa roho yao iende kukomboa Kenya. Sasa natoa roho yangu iende kukomboa Kenya. Sasa natoa roho yangu iende kukomboa Kenya. Maraga natoa roho yake iende kukomboa Kenya. Maraga natoa roho yake iende kukomboa Kenya. Sasa natoa roho yangu iende kukomboa Kenya. Sasa natoa roho yangu iende kukomboa Kenya.
Under our constitution, as is stated in Article 1, all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with the constitution. The people of Kenya have delegated the exercise of that power to the three arms of government, that is the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive, as well as to the independent commissions established under the Constitution. Parliament and the legislative assemblies are to exercise the people's legislative power and at the county levels, at the national and the county levels respectively. The people's executive power is to be exercised by the national executive at the national level and the executive structures at the county levels. And the people's judicial authority is to be exercised by the judiciary and the independent tribunals established under the Constitution. All these organs of state are to exercise the functions delegated to each of them as is stated in the Constitution. For these organs to operate properly, they require to be reasonably funded. Article 95(4)(b) of the Constitution bestows upon the National Assembly authority to appropriate funds for expenditure by the national government and other national state organs. Article 127(6)(c) provides that the Parliamentary Service Commission shall prepare the annual estimates of their expenditure and take it to Parliament for approval. Article 173(3) requires the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary to prepare and submit estimates of the judiciary budget each year to the National Assembly for approval. Article 221(1) of the Constitution requires the Cabinet Secretary responsible for finance to submit to the National Assembly estimates of revenue and expenditure of the national government for the next year. Upon consideration and approval of the budget estimates of Parliament, the judiciary, and the national government, Article 221(3) and 6 provide that those estimates shall be included in an appropriation bill which shall be introduced in the National Assembly for purposes of authorizing the withdrawal from the consolidated fund of the money needed for expenditure. Once the Appropriation Act is passed, the Cabinet Secretary for Finance has no control over the parliamentary or judiciary budget. He has, however, with the approval of the National Assembly, limited control over the national government's budget. And this is provided for under Article 225 of the Constitution. Upon approval of the upon approval by the National Assembly of the judiciary budget, Article 173(6) of the Constitution directs the Treasury to deposit the judiciary budget in the judiciary fund. To the best of my recollection, the Constitution does not give such a direction in respect of the budget of any other state organ. To that extent, the Constitution accords the judiciary special treatment. The question, I'm sure in your minds, ladies and gentlemen, is why this discrimination? Why give the judiciary special treatment? Please allow me and bear with me to explain this, and in particular for the people of Kenya to understand. World over, in all democratic states governed by their respective constitutions, constitutional power is constrained power. I want to repeat that. Constitutional power is constrained power. What that means, fellow Kenyans, is that no single arm of government is authorized to exercise all the sovereign power of the people. The three arms of government, that is the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature, are equal, and each has to keep to its lane. To put it in simple terms, none of the three arms of government should control or direct how any other arm should exercise the power the people of Kenya have delegated to that state organ. Fellow Kenyans, that's what you hear lawyers calling the doctrine of separation of powers. Under our Constitution, as is the case with with constitutions of other democratic states, it is the judiciary which has been given the power to ensure that each arm of government keeps to its lane. Each arm of government exercises only the powers delegated to it. It follows, therefore, that if Parliament passes any law that violates the Constitution, anybody can go to court and get an order declaring that law unconstitutional. If, for example, our president were to do something the Constitution does not authorize him to do, anybody can go to court and get an order telling him, our dear president, we love and respect you, but the Constitution does not give you power to do what you have done. Fellow Kenyans, what I'm saying in simple terms is that everybody is subject to the law. Is subject to the law. Fellow Kenyans, we are human beings. Not many of us would like to be told that they are wrong. You don't expect a government official to be happy when told that he has corruptly taken government resources. Do you? So, fellow Kenyans, in some decisions the judiciary makes, it is bound to clash with some officials in other arms of government. It is for this reason, to avoid those officials in other arms of government crippling the operations of the judiciary by starving it of funds, that our Constitution established the Judiciary Fund under Article 173 of the Constitution, and directs the Treasury to deposit the Judiciary Fund in the Judiciary Fund account. But that's not what the Treasury is doing. I will tell you why. After the promulgation of the Constitution in 2010, pursuant to Article 173, the Judiciary tabled its 2011, 2012, and the 2012-2013 budget proposals in the National Assembly, and they were approved. It is important to note that in the year 2013-2014, the National Assembly allocated the judiciary 17.827 billion shillings, representing 0.99 of the national budget, the highest budget allocation that the judiciary has ever received. You will see later that there are some, there's a time the judiciary was given 18 point something billion. But I'm saying this one was the highest because in relation to the budget of that year, that was the highest. The following year, however, the acting registrar of the judiciary was directed to take the judiciary budget estimates to the Treasury, and the judiciary was, after that, put under the category of governance, justice, law, and the order sector, which most people refer to the GJ laws, comprising of the Ministry of Internal Security, Police, the AG's office, IEBC, prisons, and other government departments. Some of the portions of this institution's budget is normally ring-fenced. My people tell me that when they go to those budget negotiations, they are told this amount is ring-fenced. The police have got to be given so much, this one has got to be given so much. The balance is now put on the table to be shared again among those institutions. I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with that. Some institutions require much more money than we do. But I want you to see the problem or the effect that is causing to the judiciary. Since 2014-2015 financial year, though the budget, the national budget, now as the judiciary budget is dwindling, the judiciary workload is rising tremendously. And that is what is putting us in very, very serious problems. Admittedly, we Kenyans, we are a very, very litigious nation. An average of 400,000 cases are filed in our courts every year. With the manpower we have, we are able to clear about 300,000 cases per year. You can do your arithmetic and you will see that the budget, the backlog will continue piling up. And that's why we have serious problems. So with this, with the kind of budget going down, you will recall the last financial year we were given 50 million shillings for development. It is after there was an outcry that we got some money under the supplementary budget. As if these reductions are not bad enough, we have serious challenges in what we call treasury releases. You know, government payments are through what they call IFMIs. To get through the IFMIs, we have serious challenges. Like in the last financial year, the supplementary budget that we were given, the IFMIs was opened a week to the close of the financial year. Fortunately, we had done quite our paperwork, and we were able to access quite a chunk of that money. But we were not able to exhaust it. Not because we didn't need it, but because the period the IFMIs was opened was simply too short. After a long struggle, we have now got the judiciary fund regulations passed by Parliament, and now the judiciary fund is fully operational. Last week, the Judicial Service Commission, as required by the judiciary fund regulations, authorized the judiciary to open a judiciary fund account at Central Bank, and that should be done today or tomorrow. I am appealing that from tomorrow, let whatever the Treasury wants to give us be deposited into that account, so that we are able to manage our affairs as the Constitution requires us to manage. I have now instructed the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, starting from this next year's budget, not to take our budget estimates to the Treasury. The Constitution requires that our budget estimates be taken to Parliament, to the National Assembly, sorry. The National Assembly, when it was allowed to deal with that, it gave us reasonable amounts of money. And from the National Assembly, I get very many MPs asking for courts in various places of the country, and rightly so. So when we go to the National Assembly, we will tell them, look, we need so much money to build courts in such and such and such and such places. We can't build the courts all in one year. Give us money to build courts this year in such and such places. Give us money to build courts next year in such and such places. And let me tell you, and honorable Kenyans, the judiciary does not require a lot of money to build courts in many parts of the country. If the judiciary is given a constant figure of about 5 to 6 billion shillings every year, we will have courts, in 10 years we will have courts literally everywhere in the country, and save our people the agony of traveling long distances to access justice. What is 5 billion shillings with a budget of how many trillion? I don't know. What I'm saying is, we are not demanding a lot of money. We are not asking to be given a budget equivalent, for example, to that of the Ministry of Health, because the Ministry of Health requires much more than that than we do. We are not asking to be given budget equivalent to the Ministry of Education, for example. The Ministry of Education requires much more money than that. We just need to be given reasonable amount of money so that we are able to serve our people. As I said earlier, I'm making this statement to correct some misleading statements that were made last week by the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly and Honorable Duare, that the judiciary budget has not been cut. I think they were misled. In his statement, Honorable Duare, I was surprised, is reported to have said that the judiciary budget has not been cut and that we are playing politics. I find that interesting. The judiciary doesn't play politics. And worst of all, we could not start playing that game on a serious issue like this one. The truth of the matter is that the judiciary budget has been reduced drastically, and we have serious challenges. The budget of we were given this year of about 18.857, more than a half of that goes to salaries. What remains is the development budget and the recurrent expenditure. The salaries, of course, they have not touched. But the current expenditure has been reduced by 2.9 billion shillings. That of ICT, and I mention this because of the critical aspect of ICT in the service delivery. We were given 400 million. These cuts have taken the whole of it. What that means, what these cuts mean, is that unless the cuts are reversed, we do not have money for fuel, for judges and even the treasury, the judiciary vehicles from next year. Operations of the mobile courts have been grounded to a halt. And let me tell you that those of you who don't know, there are some very, very inaccessible areas where wananchi find it extremely difficult to get to court. So we have been offering mobile court service to those stations, but we can't now do that. The Court of Appeal makes circuits to Mombasa, Nakuru, Eldoret. Now that has been brought to a halt. The litigants in those areas, please don't expect the Court of Appeal to come there until we get budget. Nyeri, because of the numbers in the Court of Appeal, we are not able to get a full court. So we are also not going to sit in Nyeri. Case backlog reduction that we had started and was moving very well, especially those cases beyond 5 years, has come to a halt. Court annexed mediation, which we rolled countrywide, and which has helped Kenya to improve on its World Bank Ease of Doing Business Index, has come to a standstill. ICT, as I told you, they have taken the whole 100% of what was allocated to us. As a result, we are unable to pay even for Wi-Fi. This has thrown the plans we had put in place for harnessing technology in total disarray. The e-filing we had started cannot go on. Electronic revenue collection is going to be hampered. And we are sorry to report that the plans that we had finalized to automate the anti-corruption courts, to speed up the hearing of corruption cases in Milimani, has now fallen a cropper. Even more critically, you know, ladies and gentlemen, that our brothers and sisters in the diaspora are the highest foreign exchange earners for this country. I have met a few of them. One time I was invited to the US to see them, and because of their important contribution to this country, I went. They gave me harrowing experiences of what they are taken through in courts, just to delay their cases so that they get tired and they don't go on. So what we had planned is to have a virtual court. And I've even spoken to our embassies in UK and Washington. We were on top of things to set up virtual courts in those stations so that the Kenyans can give evidence from where they are in the US and the UK, and we hear their cases and finalize. That one, I'm afraid, has now been put to the backyard. The budget cuts are not an isolated case. And this is why I said I want the Kenyans to know what we are going through. The judiciary has been treated and continues to be treated contemptuously. The CJ has no Mercedes car. When we applied, we were told, look, keep to the what? We don't want wastage. Keep to the minimum of 2,500 cc. It is wastage to buy a CJ, a Mercedes 500, but it is not a wastage to buy the 2 speakers of the National Assembly, Mercedes 500. Are you getting my point? That's one incident. You, you read recently attempts to withdraw police traffic clearance for the CJ. But that clearance was given to very junior government officers. And you are told that it was a mistake. A mistake. That's very interesting. The CJ is not accorded the respect due to his office in quite a number of state functions. CSS and PSS are cleared to enter State House before the CJ. The CJ has got to wait. The last Masuja day, the CJ was allowed to walk to the dais through a sidewalk. And the MC did not acknowledge his arrival, but he did it to other people. I have decided that unless I'm treated with the dignity due to my office, I will choose which of those state functions I will attend. I'm told that the VIP lounge at the JKA on the ground floor is locked, is permanently locked. I'm told it is reserved for the DP. I doubt if the DP is even aware of that. I go to the JKA and use the KQ lounge. And by the way, I enjoyed the company of the passengers I get there. We laugh and talk very well. I'm not bothered about that. My problem is this. There are times I receive very, very important visitors. I have received fellow chief justices coming to this country. Where do you want me to take them? When I was flying last year, I was flying with one of the CJs who came at my request as an official, on official duty, and I had to go to the KQ lounge with him. Because it was crowded, somebody had to vacate a seat for him. When I go to other countries, I'm treated very well, and I wonder what happens in my own country. CJs, and not only myself, CJs are treated in the same way. Here we have, a launch locked, and we are told, look, that one you can't access. I don't know whether we can spend so much money to build a launch, left it there locked for years on end. When the visitors of the stature of the Chief Justice come to this country, on official invitation, my understanding is that They are not just visitors of the host CJ. They are visitors of the country. Last year in May, I had 5 CJs from East Africa on what we call the CJs Forum. We requested for the protocol cars. You have seen them. The Mercedes protocol cars which transport official and high-ranking visitors. They were not available to us. We transported the CJs in those kind of cars you see there, to those places where they are going. Literally every day, I receive letters written by, I believe, clerks in offices for the permanent secretary for the CS. That's how the CJ is treated. A clerk is the one who addresses the CJ. I read most of those letters. I'm told that some CSS and the PSS are bragging that the CJ will or should be removed before the end of this year. Really? Kumbe hii nchi kuna wenyewe. Some of us are serving at their pleasure. Let me tell you, my friends, the CJ is here exercising the mandate given to him by the Kenyan people. I am not serving at the pleasure of NSCS or a PS. Let me also talk about some things that have caused a lot of friction with the other government agencies. You know of tender cases. They come to court and, the judiciary doesn't go out there looking for cases. Cases are brought to us. And when we deal with them, and decide them, you hear people shouting out there that the judiciary is not allowing the government to operate. As I said, we don't go looking for those cases. The people who are complaining out there, if you care to search, you will find that it is the CSS and the PSS and other senior government officers and their cronies who are behind those tenders. The president said some times back that the tenderpreneurs, most of them are in his office. But to be fair to the office of the president, those tenderpreneurs are everywhere, including even the public sector. These are the people who are trying to cripple the judiciary. I'm told these are the people I'm supposed to go and talk to give me money to run the judiciary. Am I being done a favor? Ladies and gentlemen, am I being done a favor? We're talking about public funds for service to the Kenyan people. I will not go to anybody. They are even bragging that they want again to have the judges and magistrates vetted. Very well. Let me tell you, we are not going to allow that to happen. It will only happen if it is countrywide. And it starts, because we have been vetted twice, let it start from the other arms of government before they come to the judiciary. We are tired of being the punching bag all the time. The judiciary is not interested and does not interfere with the affairs of other arms of government. Why are they interested and interfering with our affairs? You want me to tell you why? They want to control the judiciary. They want to control the judiciary. They want to make the judiciary a puppet. We can't do that. Let me say something about the court decrees against the government. The government should lead by example. It should be the first one to obey the law. It should not be the one leading in impunity. Right now, as I speak, we have hundreds of millions of decrees against the government. Some of them, I get pained, are pitiable cases. Somebody has been injured by a government vehicle and he has been awarded damages. As if to eat at the judiciary, nobody wants to pay those damages. Poor people, some of them I saw in the media. Somebody, a paraplegic, is carried from his house to be taken to bask in the sun. If there is nobody to carry him back, he will be rained on out there. And we are supposed to be a country which takes care of or is mindful of its own people's welfare. Understand me well. I'm not saying that the government has endless resources to pay everything. But if judgments have been made against the government has not appealed, or the government has appealed and the case has been dismissed, arrangements should be made to pay those judgments. That's what happens in civilized nations. But when we ask, I had a delegation of lawyers from Meru, all of them coming to tell me do something about it, and I told them there's nothing I can do. The courts have made their decision, there's nothing I can do. I'm not saying that those decrees be settled in 1 year. Let arrangements be made to settle them gradually. I'm finishing. On corruption, I want to say that I'm 100%. I've said this before. I'm 100% with the president. And I want to appeal to the Kenyans. I know you want the criminals, the corrupt criminals behind bars. That has got to be done through due process. The number of accused persons sometimes in a case, the volume of documentation that is to be produced, the number of witnesses, the lawyers involved, there's no way we can, we can do those cases in a day or two and finish. I have 10 magistrates sitting in Milimani dealing with those cases on a day-to-day basis. In spite of very, very difficult circumstances they are operating in. Please, Kenyans, be patient. The rule of law has to be followed, and I want you to be fair to the judiciary and even to the DPP. The DPP especially is the one who has had a lot of bashing that he has done nothing. The DPP has brought those cases to court, and we are going on with them. Go to even other countries, you will see that those kind of cases take a long, long time before they are concluded. So please bear with us. We are going to deal with those cases, but what I'm saying is the kind of talk I've said, I've seen that the judiciary is the weak link. Please, and some of it is coming from very, very important personalities in this country, as if they don't know how the courts operate. Please bear with us. Due process has to be followed so that we finalize. Let the DPP do his work, let the police do his work, and we will do ours. If there is evidence, we will convict. If there is no evidence, we will acquit, and they will go home. I want to assure the judges and the judicial officers that I'm not going to allow them to be attacked unfairly. I will defend them because that's my duty to defend them. All I'm doing, and I'm appealing to them, please stand up for Kenya and do the right thing. But if you are involved in anything fishy, I will be the first one to expose you. Let the other arms of government perform their duties. Don't interfere unless it is within your jurisdiction to interfere. We have, for instance, no business interfering with the transfer of police officers by the Commissioner of Police. That's not our business. We have no business interfering with the transfer of a teacher by the TS. If you go stopping them, soon you will issue an order stopping the CJ from transferring judges to other stations. Let us stick to our lane. That's what I'm saying. Let us not interfere with other people. I think I've said what I wanted to say. My last appeal to the Kenyans is this. The judiciary is serving or is playing a very, very critical role in the economic and the political stability of this country. Don't allow a few people to cripple its operations. As I said from the beginning, I'm making this statement very conscious of the fact that our economy is not doing very well. Let the little there is be shared fairly, so that services can go on. You cannot say we are going to do this and grind the operations of the judiciary to a halt. I'm appealing to the members of the National Assembly to give us, as other nations do, a reasonable percentage of the national budget so that we are able to operate. Many countries give their judiciaries 2.5% of the national budget. What is 2.5% of how many trillions is the current budget? And we will operate. As I said, give us 5 billion shillings every year, we will build courts everywhere and serve the people comfortably. If that is not possible, give us a reasonable fraction, but don't throw us to the judiciary, to the treasury, to go there and be told to wait and wait and wait. Even the little money you are given, you are not able to access it. You can't go. These budgets which have been going down, you will hear. After this, you will hear. The judiciary is not able to absorb the what? How do you absorb large sums of money, government money, which has got to be paid out in a structured manner within a very short while? That's why the Constitution wants the judiciary fund, the judiciary budget in the judiciary fund, so that we are able to run our affairs without any problems. I think this is the longest address I've given, and I want to thank you all for being patient, and I want to thank the Kenyans for being patient. After this, you are going to see a flurry of attacks against the CJ. CJ wants a Mercedes 500 so that you can feel good. CJ wants this and that. I am happy that the Kenyans see where those kind of attacks are coming from. Some of them are so incredulous that even anybody cannot believe them. I don't answer to the social media. I wish I had asked them to buy me a chopper. The one they put last week, that it is waiting for me as I swim down in the coast. So ridiculous that if you want to do those kind of things, use a bit of intelligence. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Asante sana. Huyo amekuwa ni CJ Maraga. Hii ni video ya pale kabla atoke staafu kama CJ wa mahakama. So hapo jana tulipata kwamba aliweza kuwa na meeting na majenzis pale kwake Karen, ambapo majenzizi wanataka kwamba kuwe flag bearer wao mwaka wa 2027. Wengi wamesema Maraga anaweza. Je, wewe kivyako unaona Maraga anaweza? Kwa sababu wengine wanasema kwamba atakuwa anaharibia pia Matiangi kwa vile wote wanatoka sehemu ya Kisii pale. So sijui una maoni gani kuhusiana na Maraga kuwa frontline pale, kuwekwa kwenye frontline na majenzi kuania kiti cha urais mwaka wa 2027. Kama uko na maoni niachie hapo kwenye comment section. Kama huja subscribe na kuomba uweze kusubscribe, finya notification bell ndio wakati wote tunapata habari kama hii unakuwa mtu wa kwanza kuipata. So hadi wakati mwingine, mimi nakutakia mchana mwema, au sio? So mimi nakuomba tu uweze kusubscribe na ufinye notification bell, au sio? Asante sana kwa wakati wako.